Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being on Inspire and Lead Coaching Network. And tonight, we are going to talk about 2 ways to increase your effectiveness as a leader. So I'm Nagam Al-Samari, and that is, for those of you who don't speak the Arabic language, it's Nagam Al-Samari. But if you do, it's Nagam, and I prefer that in English. That actually means melody, just so you know. So 2 ways to increase your effectiveness as a leader. The question that I often most hear is, who are leaders? What is considered to be a leader? And why do I even need to know this kind of information? And I'll tell you, through my experience as a person in multiple roles of leadership in the past and currently as a certified coach and trainer, I have come across a lot of different ways you can be a leader. And that effective leadership has given great results in organizations or even in the house. So a lot of people asked me in workshops that I've held before, but I don't have a leadership position. Am I still a leader? And the answer is yes, you are a leader. Because if you have influence over someone, a group of people, anybody that you are meeting with, working with, talking with, you are a leader. You have influenced them in one way or another. And so leadership is influence, according to John Maxwell. So this is why we talk about leadership. We talk about effective leadership because it affects everything that we do. And so tonight, we're going to be addressing 2 ways that will help increase your effectiveness as a leader. Okay, are you ready for them? Here we go. The first way is, we kind of tackled, why do you need to increase your effectiveness as a leader? So let's talk a little bit about that. Effective leaders are better organized. When you have effectiveness on your plate as a leader, you are much better organized and you are able to tackle your day and make your day far more productive as an organized leader. Another one is effective leaders can communicate with others effectively. So communication is one of the highest rated leadership characteristics that you need, because without communication, you're not going to be able to get your point across or hear others' points. And so it is so much needed in leadership. And so as an effective leader, you will be able to have effective communication with other people. Effective leaders manage time and prioritize better. So we all hear about this, how everybody does not have time to do this, everybody doesn't have time for that. And so there are things, and you see other people out there who are in leadership positions who do so much, and you wonder, do they have the same 24 hours that we do? And yeah, they do. But they actually have skills to know how to manage them, to manage their time effectively, and to be able to prioritize and know what to prioritize. And so those are the effective leaders. And finally, effective leaders create a positive environment for others, and that is needed. Don't tell me that nobody wants a positive environment. Positive environment is what everybody seeks, whether it's in the home, in a group that you're leading, in your Toastmasters club, or in the workplace. Everybody is out to seek positive environment, to look for how to actually do that. So as you are watching and listening in the comments, I want you to think about, where do you practice leadership currently? Where is it? Now, after you've listened to me for a few minutes, think about leadership again as an influence. Where do you practice it yourself? If you cannot think of an answer to that question, tell me, where have you seen somebody practice leadership in your immediate surroundings? Okay, so leave that in the comments, because we are here to learn from each other and get insight from each other. Okay, so here is number one. Remember, there are two ways to make to be an effective leader. Number one is to choose to believe in people and their potential. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. How many of you have worked in a place where you feel certain people always do certain things? Certain people are always picked for certain jobs and not others. Or if you have held a position where you get to select who does what, and you have selected certain people over others more than one time. And this happened. This happens all the time. And what that sends, that kind of message this sends is that, well, you don't really have the potential for this task, so I'm just going to give it to somebody else. Now, as people, I am being realistic. I am not going to lie to you or to myself and say that everybody's capable, everybody can do everything equally. No, that's not true. We're all made differently, and we all have our own capabilities, our own strengths, and of course, our own limitations, right? So how can we go around these differences? The answer is, if a leader knows everybody's potential and know what they are capable of, they are better able to assign them certain tasks that meet their strength. So effective leaders actually take time to learn and know about their people and choose to believe in their potential. Well, here's what happens when the leader chooses to believe in people's potential. The team's effectiveness level goes up. The team's confidence level goes up. Because now everybody has a task to do. Everybody has a role. Everyone is engaged. Everyone feels that they are contributing to the success of, the team, the club, the organization, whatever it is, the family, right? Remember, leadership isn't just in the workplace. It's also in the house, and it's also on the inside. So you have to work on yourself as a leader. You have to work on your own strength as well to be able to become a leader of influence. So choosing to believe in people and their potential helps in the team's building their team's confidence level. There's no one person or two people or a group of people that are not capable of doing something, and so they feel left out. No, everybody is capable of doing something according to the strengths that they have, and the effective leader knows that kind of information through working with their team members. Okay, productivity increases when you have everybody working. That's an easy answer, right? Everybody is working within their strength level, then we have productivity. If you have some people working and some people not working, or some people doing very minimal, or some people just doing really, busy work just because they're assumed to cannot do some things, then productivity isn't really there, or only a couple of people are doing the productive work, but they're also really going to be overtired and overworked because they're doing most of the work. Whereas if you believe in people's potential and you start working on them, you start honing them, you start actually making them stronger. If you know what they are capable of, it's not just knowing them, it's also working with them and then giving them the task that they are capable of, they are strong in. That's what increases productivity for everybody. When productivity increases, when the team's confidence level goes up, guess what goes up? Positive culture. The environment you work in becomes a lot more positive because everybody feels like that they're contributing to the success of the team. It's not just a group of people or a small group, a few people. It's everyone. And that's why you have this positive culture where you feel confident going to anyone to be able to communicate with them, connect with them, work with them. The leader feels confident going to anyone to request something, and it's a positive culture because they all contribute. And positive morale increases with the positive culture. Overall, you have positive morale of the individual employees, the individual team members, club members. Again, remember, this is not just in workplaces. This is not, we're not talking about in the office. You know, that is not limited. Being a leader is not limited to just being in the office. It is pretty much everywhere. If you are part of a networking group or a part of a Toastmasters club, you know, or anywhere else, you have a team, right? You have a team. And when you have a team, you have several different potentials in the group. It is really great to know what everybody's potential is. Everybody contributes, right? I said that. Everybody gets to contribute. Nobody feels left out. So, in the comments, I want you to write down an example of how believing in people's potential increases positive morale. Think of a time where you have seen the situation happen, or you have yourself have been either the leader who has seen someone's potential, or someone else saw your potential, the potential in you, and helped you bring that up and work towards it, and that increased your morale. So I want you to think of that example and write it in the comments. Okay. The next one is working to create an environment of encouragement. So we're going to talk about why is it important, and then how we're going to do that. Okay. So why it's important. Number one, it creates an environment where everyone expects and accepts encouragement. As the person in charge, the person who is taking lead, first of all, you're not just going to expect things from your team, and you yourself aren't going to actually do that. So you have to lead by example. You have to be the very first person to tackle some of these things that you're expecting from your team. So the expectations that you set for your team, you actually have to meet yourself. You have to do yourself if you're going to lead by example. And what that does, it creates a positive environment. It creates an environment where everybody's at level, and not people don't look at you like you're the, you know, the person up there that they are intimidated by, that they are afraid of, or they can't really reach, or they can't go to you for questions, you know, or for enlightenment or insight or anything like that. So you don't want to be this person. Maybe some people do want, but I don't want to be that person. What I would like to be is the person who people see as non-intimidating. So people see they can come to me for, you know, help with questions. They can come to me and be able to trust me in the long run, and know that I am reliable. That's the kind of leader I want to be. Right? So in order for me to do that, I have to work on me. Remember, you have to self-lead first. So I have to work on me. I have to lead by example. Whatever expectations I set for my team, I have to do. I have to see that, okay, they are doable. They can be done. So, you know, everybody can do them. So creating an environment where everybody expects and accepts encouragement, that's why this is important. You want this kind of environment where it's expected to be encouraged to do your best, to move forward, to do more, to do better, and that everybody accepts it. Meaning you're not the only person giving the encouragement. When you lead by example, everybody starts doing that. You create a positive workplace environment when you do this, right? Everybody's encouraging everybody. I mean, come on, just imagine that. You boost confidence level, right? They become more confident that even if, let's say, there's something goes wrong, that they still get that boost of encouragement from their team, their boss, their leader. And it's not about placing blame on someone and just pointing the finger and saying, he did it, he's in charge, he failed, he didn't make the sale, he didn't, it's not about that. It's about carrying the team. As a leader, you have to carry the team. Okay. And then motivation. This is how you motivate your people to actually do what they do. Does everybody like their job? I bet you, no, not everybody does. Not everybody likes their job. So they, find ways to just finish the task at hand and go home. When you are motivated to do something, you do better. So we do want to find ways to motivate each other. And one of them is to create that encouragement environment. Okay, so let's talk about the how. Well, before we do that, actually, let's do something in the comments. Who gave you encouragement recently? Think of somebody who encouraged you. Okay, and if no one did, then think about someone you have encouraged recently. And if you haven't, go find somebody to encourage. Okay, let's talk about the how. How to build an environment of encouragement. So, number one, we talked about this. Lead by example. So you can't be, yelling across the room or the office or whatever at people and telling them about their flops and how they did this wrong, or, and then tell them, oh, these are my expectations. And then you don't follow along. That's really not positive. That isn't really creating a positive vibe, right? So you have to lead by example. Recognize successes of any size. A lot of things go unnoticed during the day. And unfortunately, a lot of people in charge of others, what happens is they come to you to talk to you. You're already in your head, you're expecting what? Something must have gone wrong. That's why this person is talking to me, right? Unfortunately, that's creating a negative environment. It's the very opposite of environment of encouragement. So when you start recognizing things that actually go right, and you do make this a consistency, then people, when you approach them, they're not going in their heads thinking what went wrong. That they could also be thinking, he must be approaching me to talk about this great thing I did today, right? So there is this feeling of fear is diminished when you have this recognition of successes. And I'm not talking about having constant parties and whatever. I'm talking about as simple as great job today on the sale, or I love how you created this new organization system, and I think we're going to see a lot of positive things come out of it. Or mention somebody's name and say, hey, everybody, you know what Todd did today? There, simple, done. It's not a lot of work. It doesn't take out of your time. And in fact, it actually is going to add to your time in the long run when people start becoming more productive. Recognize expected positive behavior. So a lot of time we focus, like I said earlier, focus on the negative. But when you have these expectations, you lead by example, and then you recognize these expectations, people are going to want to be recognized for these things. So, and what you're doing, you are reinforcing these expectations over and over again when you are recognizing the successes that come out of them. You are also repairing conversations happening privately. So here's what's going on. More often than not, we see people being reprimanded out in the open for something they have done, and it makes them feel this small in front of everybody, in front of their colleagues, their friends, and it's not something you want to do as an effective leader. Absolutely not. Nobody feels good about being reprimanded in public. So you're not, what you're doing is, this is why I said repairing. You're doing is repairing what had happened. Okay. So let's say somebody has, a hiccup, a problem, something went wrong. That needs to be happening in a private setting, not out in public. Not everybody needs to see this. Okay. We can't make a lesson out of someone. No, You're creating a very negative vibe, very negative environment in your workplace, in your club, in your meetings, in your family. So you need to take that privately, and you need to have repairing conversations, which means you're focusing on, okay, what went wrong? In what way can we make this better? How can we fix this? And how can we move forward? How can we learn from this experience and move forward? So that's what repairing conversations are. If you're focusing on who did this, why did it happen this way, you're not moving forward at all. Learn from hiccups, improve instead of placing blame. And we talked about this. Okay, more hows. Public positive celebration and private learning experiences. I constantly say this. Public, you want the positive celebrations. You want the successes. Private, these repairing conversations and, learning from the experiences in order to move on and to grow. Successes are for the team. They're not yours. They're not about you. They're not for you as the leader. Okay. Yes, you were going to reap the results out of this, and they're big. Okay. But successes are for your team because they're the ones that make this happen. Encourage and model coming up with a list of solutions for each problem presented to you. So if somebody comes up to you with a problem, the consistent norm should be, okay, as you're coming to me with a problem, I also want you to come up with 3 solutions. So if this becomes the norm all the time, you yourself practice that as you lead by example, then people start critically thinking and helping move your organization, institution, club, whatever. They're moving it along forward and, thinking about what possible solutions there are. They're feeling that they are contributing to the success as well. And then the team contribution before you, again and again and again. Team contribution, team success is about the organization itself and about the team, not you. And then one thing too that I heard Simon Sinek say in a webinar, and actually he talks about in his book, he said that you should be the last person to speak if you are in a position of leadership. The reason for it is this. You sit down in a meeting, you have, 5 people, and let's say you present the problem and you say, okay, here's what I think is going to happen. You're going to have probably a lot of people immediately agreeing with you because you're the boss, or immediately disagreeing with you because you're the boss. You know that both of these happen. And it really not very much comes out of this kind of meeting. So what you do is you allow everybody to speak. Here is the problem we have. What do you guys think? Everyone speaks. Then you go. What you have done is you've created an environment where everybody can contribute. Everyone can share. Everyone's opinion is important and not just yours. What's next? You have to be consistent in everything you do as an effective leader. If you do not create this consistency in everything you do it, you try it for a little bit, and then you say, oh, it's not working, I'm going to let it go. You won't know that it's not working if you don't do it for a long period of time. Practice more and practice often. Practice more, practice often, all the time. You practice yourself as a leader, and then you set the expectations, work on them with your team, and you move forward. You lead by example, again, all the time. Do not set of expectations for your team if you don't do them yourself. And one more time, consistency. Everything works with consistency. This is how you can tell if something is working or not. If you are consistent with something across a long period of time, this is how you pick up on these nuances. This is how you pick up on some things to see if did they work, did they not, and that is. These are the 2 things that are going to help you become a more effective leader. Okay, so if you're not part of the live and you're going to watch this as a recording, that's great too. Just make sure, look at all of these, try to practice them, leave a comment to see. I want to know, did you get to practice this? Come back later after you've practiced some of these things and let us know. How did it go? How did your team do? What successes are there? What flops are there? It's important to share both of these. So once again, thanks for joining Inspire and Lead Coaching. And I hope you have, whether you're live or later on, you're going to be watching this as a recording. I hope you have found great benefit from this free training. And there will be a lot more free trainings coming in the future, and have a wonderful, well, depending on where time zone you are, morning, evening, afternoon, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.